What's going on, everyone? Azurik here. Now, obviously, I'm not Alapok. He asked me to commentate this match for him, so I was happy to oblige. But when he first sent me the match, I was like, "What's the big deal? We've played so many rock solid matches. What's so special about this one?" Well, there's actually a lot of interesting stuff that happened this match, and I wanted to kind of take a look at it because it's pretty interesting. And Alapok's using host, so he's playing the Thor. So let's get right into it. So I've talked about the Thor before, and I've kind of gone back and forth a lot on it. First, I thought it was bad, and then I kind of changed my mind about it after the Ymir trials, and then now it's definitely starting to come around. I think as a good mech. You're gonna see the Thor push to its limits this match, I guess. And there's a bunch of stuff that Alapok does that was pretty good, but the Thor it's situationally it can be good, and then in some cases it can not be so good. The quad machine guns definitely help it at close range. With hammer mechs, it can be challenging to close the distance if you got to worry about that high damage getting hit by that. Like when the hammers actually connect, it takes a huge chunk of your health. But as we see here, Big Talk's got a bunch of the timing of his shots off, so a lot of the hammers miss, and Alapok's able to take advantage of that. See right here, Alapok. This is the part of the match where Alapok's put in a no-win scenario. He gets all three of the teammates on him at the same time, and there's not really anywhere for him to move around. So this is the only part of the match where I don't think Alapok really had any chance to get out of it. But yeah, so situationally, the Thor can be good and bad. Like, if the other team's not throwing hammers correctly, or you're playing on a map that doesn't have large open areas, you can take advantage of the Thor. It's cool to see it on Rock Solid. I haven't seen the Thor played that much on this map. I'd say it's somewhat risky going after a Bowman and a Thor because you're taking the chance that they don't know how to throw the hammers correctly, and if you guess wrong, then you're gonna be in trouble. So that was something of a risk, I guess. Alapok's pushing really hard on the enemy team. Moonlight's not really allowing him to close the distance, which is smart. You're in a Belial, you're really fragile, so you have to stay back a lot. Catches Big Talk off guard right here. Then Moonlight keeps him from taking the power-ups. I'm not sure why Jake was hanging back so much in the Bowman. I think this is like probably the one criticism I have with this match is I think I would have the bowman should have gone with the Thor, because they're both close range, and had the Thor or the bowman been backing each other up, I think that would have been way more effective than the bowman trying to back up the Belial, because the Belial is always going to stay in the back and camp and go for peak shots and, you know, snipe or whatever. So the Belial is not really the biggest contributor of the team. Right there you see all the Belial has to do is just sit back and take shots, and the Thor doesn't need to take the red, so Jake could have, you know, teamed up with Alapok, and they both could have made more aggressive pushes, I feel like. See right there, that took a significant chunk of Alapok's health. Both the lasers and the crossbow missiles that the Thor uses, they don't do that much damage, so I mean, you kind of have to try to close the distance as fast as you can if you want to take advantage of what the Thor can do really well, which is push close range. Because the Thor doesn't really have any long range options. I think this is a pretty good map for the Thor. You have like a lot of medium distance, and it can be easy to close, but it can also be easy for the person you're trying to close distance with to get away. So if they pull back too far, well, then the Thor's just gonna go down like that. Alapok's pushing Big Talk really hard, and then he gets the hammer stuck to him, and then he uses his own hammer against him. I think that's so hilarious. So two of the ways you can play this game is you can play hyper offensively, and you do that by playing like mechs like the Bowman and the Prometheus, where you just try and push as aggressively and as fast as you can. And with like the weapons of the hammers, you're gonna hope that you can use that offense to take them down. And then you can play what I like to call hyper defensively, and you use the tactics of the hyper offensive players against them, and you do that by doing stuff like that, where Alapok uses Big Talk's own hammers against him, which is so hilarious. But you can also play hyper defensively by playing mechs that don't allow the other team to take advantage of. So if the whole enemy team's going like playing hammer mechs like the Bowman or the Prometheus, you can play mechs like the Uzil or the Belial, where they're not going to drop any missiles, so you can starve them out by playing, defensively and keeping them from getting the power-ups they need. It's not recommended, though. I still think that playing offensively is the way to win matches. If you don't win matches by playing defensively, you play by playing aggressively and pushing the team as much as you can. But that's also a strategy you can use if you want to try and use different mechs besides hammer mechs. Anyway, as we can see here, Alapok played the Thor really well this match. I don't think there was any mistakes that he made. I think the one thing it was is, maybe Jake or whatever could have backed him up more with the bowman. And it's also the fact that the Thor is a good mech, but I just think like mechs like the bowman and the Belial are more consistent with their damage, The machine guns have a little bit of a delay, it feels like, when it comes to picking off targets. There was that kill earlier where Joel got priority because he Gauss sniped versus Alapok, who was using the machine gun. So I don't know. It's just it's about consistency. I think the Thor's a good mech, and the enemy team still ended up winning, but a really great match. Anyway, I want to thank Alapok for allowing me to commentate this match. It was really interesting, and I enjoyed watching it. And make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.